So we're going to talk now about annuities. Annuities are usually called as installment, or if a sequence of payments made at equal intervals or periods of time. Example niyan is, halimbawa kung may hiniram kang pera tapos binabayaran mo siya 1,000 per month, that's annuity. If you buy an installment and then you pay for it 1,000 per month, that's annuity. And actually, yung 1,000 na yan, siya na ba kung nag-borrow ka ng, if you bought a refrigerator tapos binabayaran mo siya ng 1,000, if you're going to sum it up, yung 1,000 na binabayaran mo, that's not actually the actual price. Yung actual price is yung 1,000 kasama na dyan yung interest. So that's annuities. So there are different kinds of annuities according to payment, according to time, and according to generation. So according to payment interval and interest period, we have the simple annuity and then the general annuity. The simple annuity is when the payment interval is the same as interest period. Example, limbawa, monthly mo binabayaran tapos monthly rin ang conversion of the interest. Halimbawa, 1% compounded monthly. Tapos monthly rin ang binabayaran mo. So, yung monthly, the same siya sa conversion of the interest or the interest period and the payment period. However, general annuities are usually the annuities which doesn't have the same interest period and payment interval. Halimbawa, binabayaran mo siya monthly pero it's compounded semi-annually. So they have different periods for the interest and the payment. So therefore, that's general annuity if they don't have the same. Next, according to a time of payment, we have the ordinary annuity and the annuity due. Ordinary annuity is when the payment is made at end of each period, while annuity due is at the beginning of each period. Example, kapag monthly ang payment period, kapag binayaran mo siya at the end of the month, yan ordinary annuity. But at the beginning of the month, that's an annuity due. According to duration, there is annuity certain and there is contingent annuity. Annuity certain is we know that dito bayaran mo siya magtatapos ka mga 5 years. But contingent annuity, there is no fixed. There is no annuity in which the payment extend over an indefinite length of time. So there is no fixed at fixed end for the payment. So you just continue paying it without the fixed or without the definite time where are you going to end it. It's important to know these kinds of annuities because it also needs different kinds of solutions, even though some of them needs the same formula. However, some of them really needs different solutions before you're going to use the formula. So for us, we're going to have this ordinary, and usually they are in ordinary annuity, and we're going to have first here simple annuity, and later we're going to have the general annuity. So simple annuity again is those annuities where they have the same conversion period and interest period, while general annuity doesn't have. Ordinary, at the end, yung end of the period ka nagbabayad. Halimbawa kung monthly siya, so at the end of the month, quarterly, at the end of 3 months, doon ka palang magbayad. So these are the formulas. We have the future value and the present value. So future values is halimbawa kung nakabayad ka na ng 5 months, magkano na yung binayad mo sa 5 months? Lahat-lahat, including the interest. However, for the present value, it doesn't magkano na yung binayad mo in comparison with with the real cash value, or yung without the interest, yung hindi kasali interest, magkano nang binayad mo. So that's the present value. There is also this formula which is the simplified. If given ang P, you could solve for F. Kung P naman, you could solve for, if given ang F, you could solve for phi. That's P. In this one, there's no P in here. So P and F. So they don't have the same value. So ito kasaling ang interest, ito wala. So for example, number 1, again, this is simple annuities. Find the present value and the amount future value of an ordinary annuity of 15,000 payable semi-annually or semi-annually for 10 years if the money is worth 6% compounded semi-annually. As you notice, yung conversion or interest period is semi-annually, while yung payment period is semi-annually. So this is a real an example of simple annuity, yung magkapareho yung semi-annually. So next is we're going to solve now for the present value. For the present value, we know that the formula is this one. So this is the formula and this is the formula. So we're going to identify muna the R. This is the R. So 15,000. So R is 15,000. Next. This is the I. I lang yan siya. I is 0.6% is 0.06 or 6%. Next. T is the number of years. T, kailangan natin ng T. T, how many years? That's 10. 10 years. Next, M. What is M? M is the number of conversion. So in this one, the compounded semi-annually. So sa isang year, how many compound conversion? So semi-annually, so kalahati ng year. So dalawa. Next, let's identify J. J is I over M. J is I over M. So 0.06 over, parang hindi magkasya to, 2. So 0.06 divided by 2 is 0.03. And let's identify N. M times T. MT is equal to 2 times 10, which is equal to 20. So we know that this is J, this is M. The formula for present value is this. So R 1 minus 1 plus J parenthesis negative N over J. So R is 15,000. Oh no. Okay. So again, natin parenthesis 1 minus 1 plus J, which is 0.03 raised to the power of negative N, negative 20 over 0.03. So actually, you can simply put this directly in the calculator para ma-solve siya agad. However, we're going to have this muna. So 1 minus 1 plus 0.03, that's 1.03 raised to the power of negative 20 over 0.03. So, unahin mo muna itong mga exponent. So, lambaw kung ganyan siya. So, ganyan ang mangyari. We could simply write 1. Ito muna ipasok. Times mo muna to 1 minus 1.0. Or you could simply type this directly in the calculator kung madali lang. However, pwede mo itong unahin muna sa taas. 1 minus 1.03 raised to the power of negative 20. So that's the answer. Divide this by 0.03. So that's the answer. Times mo siya agad sa 15,000. Times mo sa 15,000, the answer is 223,162.12. So if this is the present value, we know that the future value should be greater than this one. So for future value f, r 1 plus j to the power of n minus 1 over j. R is 15,000. 15,000. 1 plus j is 0.03. J is 0.03 raised to the power of n, which is, so n 20 minus 1 over 0.03. So 15,000, 1 plus 0.03, that's 1.03 raised to the power of 20 minus 1 over 0.03. So with this, pwede mo na yan type directly in the calculator. 1.03 raised to the power of 20 minus 1 divide mo nito 0.03 times mo sa 15,000. So the future value is equal to 403,055.62. So that is the future value. As you can see, yung present value should always be less than the future value. Kasi ang future value, it has the interest. It includes the interest. So at the end of the month, ito na yung lahat na babayaran mo. So next, problem number 2. To pay his debt at 10% compounded quarterly, Ruben committed for 8% quarterly payments of 18,000 each. How much did he borrow? So how much did he borrow? So does it include the interest or not? So is it the present value or the future value? So it is the present value. Kasi nga, the future value, it includes the interest. So, kapag itotal mo yan siya, hindi yan siya yung magkano yung binayad mo. However, the present value is how much did you pay, how much did you borrow. So, that's only yung sinusolve ng present value. Yung future value, kasama na yung interest. So, for this one, we're going to identify how much are you paying each month. So, that's R. So, how much is the interest? So it's 10% compounded quarterly. So 10% or 0.10 compounded quarterly. So ibig sabihin ang M is 4. Next, ang N, ang T, walang sinabi na T how many years. Hindi rin sinabi yung pero ang sinabi lang pala is 8 quarterly payments. So, ang 8 quarterly payments is actually the N. So, N. So, we now can solve for P. P is equal to R, copy the formula, 1 minus 1 plus J from power of negative N over J, which is equal to R is 18,000. 1 minus 1 plus J. So J, to solve for J, 0.10 I over M divided by 4. So 0.10 divided by 4 is equal to 1 over 40 or 0.025. 0.025 raised to the power of negative N is 8, so negative 8 over 0.025 is equal to 18,000 1 minus plus mo ito, that's 1.025 raised to the power of negative 8 over 0.025. So, you can solve this. Type mo yan lahat sa taas. 1 minus 1.025 raised to the power of negative 8. Divide mo by 0.025 times mo by 18,000. So, magkanong hinira mo? That's 129,062 pesos and 47 centavos. So, yan ang binayaran mo. Yan ang hinira mo. Pero, itong babayaran mo, hindi lang ganito, 129,000. So, it doesn't include the interest. So, God bless you. Next, a high school student would like to save 150,000 for his graduation. How much should he deposit in a saving account in every month for 5.5 years if interest is at 0.30 compounded monthly. So every month, monthly, so it's the same lang. So that's simple interest. Next is, let's identify if we're looking for a future value or the present value. So ang aim niya is 150,000. Kasali na bang interest dito sa 50,000? Kasi nagsisave siya per month. Kasali na ba ang interest? So ang aim niya lang talaga is makasave siya ng 150,000. 150,000. So that's include the interest. That includes the interest kasi nga 150,000. So if ganyan, kapag this is the kapag 150,000, so more or less yung ihuhulog niya sa bangko, hindi 150,000 ang total. So mas maliit pa sa 150,000 yung ihuhulog niya sa bangko, tapos aabot ng 150,000 lang yun kasi kasali ang interest. So we're going to solve now for magkano yung ihuhulog niya sa bangko every month for 5.5 years, para at the end of 5.5 years magkaroon siya ng 150,000 na hindi naman total na 150,000 na ihuhulog niya, kasi naging 150,000 lang siya kasi merong interest. So high school student pa yan siya, so ibig sabihin it could be less. Hindi siya malaki kasi usually high school students sa atin is mahihirap lang. So we are looking for R kasi we're looking for how much should you deposit in saving account every month. Savings account every month. So we're looking for R. Next, ang first given is 150,000, which is the F. 150,000 kasi including ng interest 150,000. That's how much should he deposit in saving accounts for 5.5 years. 5.5 years is T. If the interest is 0.30%, this is the interest, which is also equal to 0.0030 compounded monthly. So ibig sabihin, M is equal to 12. So that's all for J muna. J is I over M. I is 0.0030 over M, which is 12. So J is 0.0030 divided by 12. 0.3025. Next, N. N is M times T. M is 12. T is 5.5. So 12 times 5.5 is equals to 66. We'll use the formula for F. F is equal to R 1 plus J to the N minus 1 over J. So F, we know that F is 150,000 is equal to R. We're looking for R. 1 plus J, which is 0.0025 raised to the power of N, 66 minus 1 over 0.00025. To solve this, we'll solve this R 1.00025 raised to the power of 66 minus 1 over 0.00025, 150,000. Unahin mo muna to solve lahat ito. Tapos, diba, you can simply divide this para ma-cancel, para ma-R na matira. So, unahin mo ito, divide mo dito. So 1.00025 raised to the power of 66 minus 1, that's minus 1, divide by this, divide by 0.00025, and then, but that's the answer. R is equal to 66.5391213. 150,000. Divide mo yan by 66.53912. So, divide mo rin dito by the same amount. So you can simply cancel. R now is equal to this one. So 150,000 divided by that, it's 2,254.31. So yan dapat ang monthly niya para at the end of 5.5 years magkaroon siya ng 150,000. So if you're going to solve that to 254.31 times 66 kasi 66 siya magulo. Oh, sorry. Divide pala. 2254.31 times 66. So, ang hinulog niya lang is 148,784. But ang total niyan at the end of 5.5 years is ang makukuha niya pala, ang saving niya kasali ng interest is 150,000. So that's it for simple annuity. We're going to have the second video for general annuity.